I'm a football fan, but doesn't mean I have to go watch football in the club. Although, yeah, the ambience is good, yes, but the temptations will always be there. You'll see waitresses going around your favorite drink, so you'll not be concentrating on the football, you'll just be concentrating on these beers they're passing around. Watch at home. Go watch somewhere else, but not a club.
Good afternoon to you, our viewers of the Cool of Addict YouTube channel. It's a chilly afternoon, as you can tell, but it's a good afternoon. In our video today, we are going to talk about addiction, and we are going to have the professional and personal perspective of addiction. As always, I'm your host, Edna Mumbi-Maina, and our location today is Christ the Good Shepherd Rehabilitation Center, Nyeri. Before we start, we are going to introduce the other guests in our channel today.
Yes, my name is John Mutugi Marangu. I am a clinical psychologist. Currently, the in charge at Christ the Good Shepherd Wellness Center. And this is where I work.
My name is Paul Sapashe. I'm a recovering addict of alcohol and mirror. And so far, this is a very good place and I'm doing my best here.
We are going to start our discussion today by defining what is addiction. I mean, we all hear about addiction, but some of us really don't know what addiction is.
Medically or professionally, addiction is a disease. We say addiction is a complex disease. It's a chronic disease that is characterized by around 4 symptoms. Symptom number 1 is loss of control. Symptom number 2 is powerlessness. You don't know when to stop. Symptom number 3 is compassion. You feel the urge to take your drug of choice, no matter whatever decision you're able to make. And the last symptom is it's a progressive disease. It gets worse each day. It's just like cancer. Cancer gets worse. So addiction, the way I was addicted yesterday is not how I'll be addicted today. It progresses. So those are some of the symptoms that we look at when professionally when we're talking about addiction. Yes.
So basically we can say that addiction is an urge.
Yes.
To maybe use or do something.
To do something compulsively. We have social users. We have people that can use coffee socially. We have people that can even use alcohol socially. But now, an addict now is someone who is unable to control how much they use. They can no longer control their own lives. They are unable to manage their own lives. If it's a parent, they won't be able to take care of their family because of addiction. If it's someone who is working, they won't be able to turn up to work on time or free or in the best way because of the addiction. And the last one is powerlessness. Someone really wants to quit. Let's say, for example, I have been diagnosed with a liver problem. And the doctor tells me, John, you need to quit taking alcohol. And I also know I need to quit taking alcohol. But addiction makes me go back to that. That is powerlessness. Continuing to use regardless of whatever I am told, whatever warnings I am given, whatever precautions I have. So we can define it as a disease, a complex disease that is characterized with the 4 symptoms that I have given. And it's a disease because a disease must have a symptom. And it must have a treatment. Yes.
Okay. To Paul, maybe, what is your understanding of addiction, being someone who has gone through it?
Well, to me, addiction is that uncontrollable urge, or as you said, urge. It might be something that you can't live without. You really have to have this thing, and it's a feeling that, hey, I can't live without it. It's a must. I get it. It's a must. I use it. It can be anything from a drug to something that, as I said, like coffee. Personally, mine was the drug, alcohol. We couldn't live without it. I was every day is like, I have to take this and that and this and that, so that at least I can feel good that day.
We've talked about maybe in this addiction you also feel the urge to go to extreme measures to satisfy the addiction. And what are some of the things we note in someone who is experiencing any
Yes.
kind of
Yes.
addiction.
Yes. And, those are the ones that I named as the symptoms. Eh?
Yeah.
If you really want to know you're addicted to something, number one, when you lose control of how much you take. We have social alcoholics who might take maybe a bottle of alcohol maybe during the weekends. And akimaliza kukunywa moja, this person will not take anything else. So once you realize that you have begun losing control of how much you are taking, if it's coffee, if it's anything, you need to understand that addiction is on your way. You're becoming addicted. Number two, when you begin experiencing that serious urge to take something, that's what we call compassion. If you feel you're being compelled to take something from within, you're having very strong cravings to take something, even in instances that are not okay to take. Let's say someone smoking before they go for an interview. You know, someone has experienced an urge and they no longer see the essence of not smoking. They don't want to look at it as if maybe my smoking might make me lose my job, or my smoking might make the interview fall out of me. You know, such. That is compassion. The other one is unmanageability. You can no longer manage your life like you used to. Let's say if you are a student, you can't manage to study well like you used to do before. Let's say if you are a parent, you can manage to pay school fees on time like you used to do. So you are not able to provide for your family. You know, you're not able to turn up to work. Maybe you're working, but you turn up to work drunk. You have missed a lot of days. The HR has been writing to you about your absenteeism and all that. That shows that. And all that has happened because you drank alcohol or you drink alcohol to an extent that now paydays, after getting paid, you miss work from date 1 to date 7, all right. Then you go back to work again when you've maybe misused all that amount of money. That shows that you are addicted. And the last symptom that I can talk about is when you want to use something no matter you experiencing negative effects out of it. Maybe you have already hit rock bottom. Hitting rock bottom is getting to a stage that now you either choose whether you getting to a stage, the lowest stage you can get to. Let's say, for example, I've gotten a serious car accident when I was drunk. Maybe I've lost even my hand. I almost lost my life. But immediately I get out of hospital, I want to take again. So the doctor has warned me about drinking, and maybe my kidneys are failing. But immediately I get out of hospital again, I am using. That shows that I have a problem with that substance. I'm getting addicted. And apart from that, there's something we call the X factor. There are some people that have the X factor that makes them addicts. Maybe in your family, maybe you have had a group of people who are addicts. Let's say your father was an addict, your grandfather was an addict. You might be carrying an X factor that gets activated once you use. When you have not used, then you can't say that X factor pushed me into addiction. But once you experiment, then you realize now that's a symptom. You get deep into addiction.
Okay,
Yes.
Paul, what are some of the symptoms that you experienced that made you know that, yes, I am into addiction or I'm addicted to this and this?
First of all, I was not considering myself an addict. I was in denial. I used to say I'm a social drinker until I came to the realization that whenever I went out with some friends, I used to lie to myself, I'll just take one or two, then the day is over. That I end up having a couple, and that was not enough. I just had until I was out. So that was when I realized, hey, I'm an addict. And then I wake up in the morning and there's another urge, is like, we call it kutoa lock. You have to go to the club again, get some more. And it became a routine. That's when I discovered, hey, this is serious. This is an addiction. This is what addiction is. And also, I was using a lot of resources. I was using a lot of money, spoiling myself with these earthly things. Alcohol being the most thing that I was indulging myself. So that's when realization came. This is addiction, and started help. Yeah.
So do you think maybe there are people out there who are going through addiction, but they don't want to accept the fact that they are addicted?
Yes,
Oh,
a
okay.
lot of people. I was one of them until I sought help. And in recovery, there's the steps, the 12 steps of recovery. And in step 1, you learn about the things about denial. Denial, people out there, I was one of them. I used to say I'm not an addict. I'm not an addict. Addicts are people who are worse than me. Those ones who wanalala kwa mtaro, those are addicts. I am not an addict. I don't sleep in mtaros, but I stagger. So I thought myself I've not reached that point, so I'm not an addict. A lot of people out there, most of my friends out there who are still doing it, they don't consider themselves addict. They're saying, we just drink, but we're not addicts. So yeah, a lot of people out there, they are in denial. They don't want to accept the fact that they're addicts, and they don't want to seek help because maybe they are afraid of embarrassment. They are afraid of what people will think about them, their friends, their families, people at work. So they're afraid of judgment. And that's the problem with the youth nowadays. They're looking for social status.
Yeah.
They don't want to get help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't want to tarnish their image out
Yes.
there, maybe to their peers or maybe to those surrounding them.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Paul, for that. Because we've gotten into the stages of recovery, I presume once you've accepted the fact that you are into addiction, one of the steps to take to recover from this addiction is seeking help.
Sure.
And that is what this center specifically deals with. The people who have decided to seek help from their addiction, regardless of whatever addiction one is suffering from. So I've taken the step, I want to recover. What are some of the steps or stages of recovery?
Yes. Thank you so much for that question.
Yes.
Number one, making a decision to stop using a certain substance, especially a destructive substance like alcohol, cigarettes, marijuana, or whatever kind of drug, is one of the greatest decisions that addicts can make. And I'm sure there are people who are watching us at home that have had such instances when someone from their home, let's say it's your kin, it's your son, it's your daughter, who at one point told you that maybe they have considered going to rehab. Number one, we always say such experiences don't come oftenly. So it's always good to help someone when they feel they need some help, because right away I might be feeling I need to go to rehab, I might be feeling I need some help, but some other time I feel as if I don't want to get help. So number one, I would urge family members and our viewers, at any point that you have someone who really tells you that they want some help, especially maybe to go to rehab, to see a counselor, it's always going to provide that service at that point, because some other time they might change their mind, and that might worsen their situations. Now, when we receive someone who wants to get help, and once they are received at our place, we have an admission process. We have first of all to assess whether you are eligible for rehab. You don't just come and you just get admitted. Number one, we have to be sure that you have an addiction problem. We don't want to admit someone who is running away from
maybe problems.
problems also in there. So we have to ensure that legally you are okay. Number two, we have to ensure we work with a doctor, a medical doctor, and also a psychiatrist and a nurse. We have to ensure that body-wise you're checked, so that we don't admit someone who is supposed to be in the hospital. We need someone that we can manage from the rehab setup. And once we have done that and also done some administrative roles and admission roles, after that, we are able to begin counseling. We begin from psychoeducation. We have to do some psychoeducation to our clients. We need to explain to them why did I become an addict? Because some people don't know why they became addicts.
Yeah.
Because other people saying they are using, and they're using socially, and I'm seeing them having fun. Why was it me? So we're able to help them understand that some people cannot become addicts, and other people can become addicts.
Yeah.
And for us, once you realize that you are an addict, you can no longer become a social alcoholic or a social drug user. So we begin with give them psychoeducation about some of the drugs and substances that are abused, so that they are also aware, and then some of the symptoms of addiction, just as we have done to you. And after some time now, we're able to bring them to the Alcoholics and Narcotics Anonymous program. In our rehab, we have we say our program is a biopsychosocial program. Biological, psychological, and social. Biological part is when the doctor has to check on you and see you are viable for rehab. Psychological is the counseling, both the individual counseling and the group counseling. We have each client has an individual therapist. Upon admission, I divide. We are going to divide, and maybe for you, each client is given an individual therapist, and then we have group sessions. In the group sessions, that's where we work out the Alcoholics and Narcotics Anonymous program that Sapasha has just talked about, the step 1. It has 12 steps. It's called the 12-step program. It's a worldwide program that is worked for addiction treatment. So we do individual therapy and group therapy and also family therapies. We said addiction is a family disease. It is not only Sapasha who is affected. Even the family members are affected, the siblings, the parents. So after every month, we ensure the client has had a family therapy. When we do therapy for the ones who are hurt by his addiction and for him, so that by the time 3 months are over, at least the family is somewhere. They have begun winning out the resentments, the anger, you know, they have settled some differences. We have also elaborated to the family that for him, acting out this way, it was due to his addiction. We can still give him another chance. We have had people that maybe the parent invested so much on them, who paid businesses for them, took them to school, and they messed up. So treating the addict alone won't help. We also need to treat this father, this mother, this wife, who has been receiving that beatings from the husband, and now the husband has said has gone to the rehab. And maybe the wife might be like, oh, go to the rehab and come back. I have nothing to do with you. But we still have to do some trauma therapy for them, some family therapy for them. So after doing that, we also have the spiritual aspect. Us also being a church-based organization, in as much as we admit clients from all dimensions, we have a spiritual program. If you are Muslim, you can pray from a place that who can be identified for you. If you are a Christian, a Protestant, a Catholic, we have mass, we have services for you, and we also have a spiritual day. To a point, the purpose of the spiritual day is to ensure that we are all spiritually nourished. Because we also believe that there is a power greater than ourselves that can restore us back to sanity. In addition, insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. So we always pray and ask the higher power. In addition, we call him the higher power. We have a lot of spiritual therapy. We ensure that our clients are nourished spiritually. Yes. So that is some of those are some of the programs that we work out. We also ensure that they also get good meals.
It is great to know that it's not just focusing on the recovery of maybe the body or just the addiction part of it, but it's a wholesome.
It's a holistic program.
Holistic program, which is very nice. Paul, maybe what do you feel like? Was it easy? My first question, was it easy to seek help? To decide that now it's time to seek help?
It was not. It's when you hear of rehab, it's like you thinking of a mental institution. It's not easy. I told John, it was my own decision actually to come to rehab. I talked to my parents, I talked to everybody at home, and I told them, I know what I've been doing, and I know it's because of this, and I want help. And they accepted. So So when we got to this gate, I was expecting big doctors waiting for me with a bed and with needles waiting for me, but it was totally the opposite. People were watching me with warm hands. The whole group was waiting for me, and it was a warm welcome. It was not like those movies where you see people with white lab coats waiting for you. No, it was not. And it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. Coming here really made me know myself more. It made me realize that feeding that inner beast, addiction, will not take me anywhere. I was in denial out there. And it coming here made me realize that I've lost so many opportunities because of this beast, this thing called alcohol. Alcohol is not bad, but I was taking it in proportions that were insane. And as you heard about insanity, is doing things expecting different results.
Yes.
I was repeating the same thing, the same thing. I was using alcohol to cure things that were just illusions in my mind. I do. How can I put this? I was using alcohol to boost my self-esteem, which was totally false. I could not stand in front of people without taking one sip or two just to boost my confidence. And after coming here, and realizing I can do all that without alcohol.
Yeah.
In an interview right now.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised because you're very eloquent and composed.
Yeah, it's all illusions in the mind.
Yes.
And after all these therapies, all those walls are just falling apart, falling down by themselves. And in the spiritual sense, I am a Catholic. And coming here also, it has boosted my faith so much, and I am really happy about it. This rehab, these institutions are not just about healing the body, but the mind and the soul as well. Yeah, so it's really something that is good, and I want to tell the viewers out there that rehabs are not what you think. Rehabs are just it's like a place where you can go find help, and help in a good way. They're not big doctors here. Just, you
Normal
find
size
part of the
doctors.
family, part of the extended family of God. Yeah, that's all.
And I would recommend you very much for taking that step and making that decision to come to rehabilitation. We've spoken about what is addiction, symptoms of how to know you're addicted, the recovery process. Now, maybe we talk about life after rehabilitation, life after the addiction. Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. Now, after whatever period that someone gets in treatment, because addiction is not the same for everyone. Someone might require 3 months, other people might require 6 months or 5 months or whatever period.
Yeah.
So after you've worked out the inpatient treatment in the rehab, and we have let you out, we follow you up. We don't just let you go out. We have clinics. Someone has to come to visit us after 2 weeks, then after 2 weeks, after a month, after a month. We follow up you for around 9 months. You have clinics to attend. And we also do a lot of outreach with our alumni. We go out with our clients and especially the alumni, reaching out, because we always remember that in addiction treatment, the more you give, the more you retain. And by the time someone comes out of here, thank God we have a very good director, and also the Archbishop of Nyeri, who is very much vocal about helping us and helping us as a facility grow. We have had many opportunities to go out with our alumni, to radios, even now to such a YouTube channel. We have had some, so that we motivate them to give it away.
Yeah.
Whatever they have learned, whatever they have discovered about their addiction, they're able to give it away. And that's why we have a very, very, very strong group of alumni. We also have days that we meet the alumni by themselves, and they also come for individual and group sessions, counseling. We also have Alcoholics and Narcotics Anonymous meetings that happen at Caritas. We have a place for that, where now we also meet people who are in recovery. Being in recovery means you are in addiction, but right away you're not actively engaged. Because we always say once an addict, always an addict. The difference is that you don't use.
Yeah.
But when you remember you are an addict, you won't be tempted to use. Because once you use, you're going back, you go back to zero.
Yeah.
So after we have seen our clients, the alumni do so well. Some have already secured jobs. Others have ventured into business. And we follow up to support them in whatever capacity that we are able to do. We also follow up to them up to their homes, so that we know if you've become a farmer, we have a team that takes care of the outreach. So we send them outside there, maybe to follow up. We have an alumni at Mokoraine, we have one at Odaya, we have one at Meru. So the team is empowered, because aftercare or continued treatment is one of the areas that is very essential in addiction treatment and recovery. You might treat someone for 3 months, but if you don't do some crucial follow-up for them, then they are going to experience challenges outside there.
Yeah.
And the community doesn't understand that this person was an addict. They expect that someone has got out of rehab, they are perfect. They don't know that they are relapses and they are triggers.
Yeah.
We always talk about, we have emotional, psychological, and physical triggers. So putting someone in an excerpt of a bar, that's exposing them to the physical triggers.
Yeah.
Some people are triggers by themselves.
True.
Mombi. I'm sure Sabasha might tell us that during his active addiction, there are people that you could see, and you're like, seriously, today I'm going to take alcohol. By just seeing them, you just see someone, you're like, oh, I'll smoke. You just see someone, like, is that John? Today I'm going to chew mirror. So such people, it may not seem as if very much friendly, but we always advise our people, our clients, by the time you get out of the rehab, there is a group of people that you have to identify and avoid them intentionally. Because in case you don't avoid them, they are going to push you back to your addiction. And Moby, do you think people are happy when someone is not using? Someone who was using, do you think someone is happy when I was using and now I'm no longer using? They're not happy.
Yeah.
Because I've left. Nisha left your group.
Your group,
Sasa. So and they are wondering now, John ataka kutuonyesha nini?
So to add on what John was saying about the PPTs, people, places, and things, it's true. Once you leave rehab, falling down is easy. Relapsing is very easy, and it all depends with your mind power and your will set. Whatever you're planning on achieving, your ambitions, stick to them. When you're talking about people, the friends you used to have, the bogey, or the clique you used to roll with,
Yeah.
was one of the greatest temptations you'll ever have. And once you decide to quit, and then find them waiting in your local favorite places, your local place you used to go.
Yeah.
I used to say mine was close to home, your shortest staggering distance from your home, and they'll always be there. And when you pass there, they'll always call you. Trust me, they will call you, and it's all up to you. Utaenda ama utawambia next time, and next time means hey, run.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the places you used to visit. I'm a football fan, but doesn't mean I have to go watch football in the club. Although, yeah, the ambience is good, yes, but the temptations will always be there. You'll see waitresses going around your favorite drink, so you'll not be concentrating on the football, you'll just be concentrating on these beers they're passing around. Watch at home. Go watch somewhere else, but not a club. I don't advise it. And the things that you used to take, those will be triggers. You'll see a bottle of Tusker or Chrome or a favorite Johnny Walker. It will start reminding you of how your addiction used to be. It's a trigger. Try to avoid it. And it will help you in a matter of way that you have a strong mindset, and that mindset will drive you a long way. It will give you a lot of courage to say, "Hey, I can beat this."
Yeah.
And once you have that courage, you can say you can beat this. Nothing that comes your way will be a challenge.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think having that built-in strength of najiamini itakupeleka mbali. Yeah.
All right. And maybe what are your ambitions after the recovery process?
Before coming to rehab, during my addiction, I was in school, and I was part-time school, part-time working. And coming, but during my addiction, I was not really serious with myself. I was not really serious. I was just only focusing on satisfying my needs in addiction, which has cost me a lot of opportunities in life. It made me to a point that I think I was, not I think I was fired actually. I was given a letter. It was like, I was working with delicate things, gas. But I was told I was laid off because of my addiction. Led me to depression. And I was struggling for a while before coming to rehab. And after that few months in rehab, you're given during your mafunzo. You're given options. What are you going to do? You're given like unapanga. You can't just go outside and say,
An exit plan.
Yeah.
there's an exit plan. And that's the best thing about rehab. They give you choices in your exit plans. Will you go to school? Will you go to work? Will you finish whatever you were doing previously? So my exit plan is finish school. I really have to. There is nowhere in Kenya will go without papers.
Tell them.
Nothing, papers. Hey, that KCSE certificate, it's all finished, but there are more and more. Wanasemanga masomo yaishi,
Haina mwisho.
haina mwisho. Finish whatever you're doing. I will finish whatever I'm doing. Trust me. And then papers. My parents used to say, oh, you'll not go anywhere without papers. Hata KDF.
Hata ukiwa connection.
You got a connections, but the connections are the worst. Hey, when you work with what you have,
Yeah.
it will give you a sense of accomplishment in your life. And then you'll be like, hey, I'm satisfied with what I have. You'll not be seeing people when you're on and they're saying, they have a lot. Me, I'll say I'm comfortable with what I have. I worked for it. So finishing school and getting my dream job will be one of my exit plan. That is my exit plan.
And all the best
Thank you very
in
much.
that. Today, in this video, we will end by advice to not necessarily the addicted, but those who are not even in addiction, but maybe they are faced with the urge of wanting to try out these things. Maybe you, in this addiction, you're not necessarily talking about, yes, we are talking about the drug addiction, but there are very many addictions out there. You might be addicted to pornography, you might be addicted to food, might be addicted to maybe something else.
Sex and so forth.
Yes. An advice to that person who feels the urge to do these things more and more often. What is your advice to them?
Addiction is a disease. And like any other disease, addiction can be cured. When you're addicted to something, it will cost you a lot of things, both physically, mentally, and it will not just affect you, it will affect everybody around you. So my advice is, whatever the addiction, whatever you're addicted to, it can come to a stop as long as you accept you have the addiction and you're willing to get help. So my advice to the young people out there, if you have an addiction, don't be shy. Do not have that sense of cowardness. Do not feel that you'll be alone in this. No, you will not be alone. There are a lot of us who are out there, and you will not be alone. Trust me. I felt right now I'm not alone. I'm with a lot of people who are helping me achieve my goals and my dreams and facing my addiction.
Yes, my advice to the young people and also the community, especially to those who have not begun using, don't begin using. Ni kama Mombasa, kuingia ni rahisi lakini kutoka iko na kaugumu. To those who are actively engaging themselves in substance use, there is one quote that alcohol says. Alcohol tells us that, trust me, you lose everything. Alcohol. So, if you're still using alcohol and other substances, marijuana, very soon it might catch up with you. That might not be the best, but I don't know whether it might sound somehow, but very soon it will catch up with you. Maybe after 5 years or 6 years of becoming a social alcoholic, very soon you might get into addiction. There is no level of use that is okay. Hata ile ya daktari, that one is a lie. In as much as it might sound that a man should take this and this, all that, there is no level of substance use, especially alcohol, drugs, anything that alters your mind, apart from when you're taking medications that is right for us. So there's no amount of alcohol, there's no amount of cigarettes, there's no amount of marijuana that is okay. So let us stop rationalizing irrational things. And my last advice to the still suffering addict outside there, seek help, ask for help. All is not lost. You can still rejuvenate yourself and come back to the better version of yourself. Reach out to someone that you think, because everyone knows people that wish them best and people that would have wanted, who want to have them in a better situation. You reach out to the nearest rehab, to the nearest church, talk to someone, talk to a counselor, and I'm sure you're going to get help. And also you can also reach out to the nearest Alcoholics and Narcotics Anonymous group near you. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much to both of you for the wholesome insight in this addiction. We've focused on this addiction or rehabilitation stories for a number of episodes, and it's because this is a rising issue in the community currently, especially with us, the young people. We are really facing issues regarding to drugs and other forms of activities that have been accepted by the community currently. We hope that the stories or the education we give unto you as the youths, are impacting you as a person, maybe suffering from what we are talking about, or you as a youth who maybe is curious about these things. Thank you so much for tuning into the Kubonga na Mayouth Show. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to share, make sure to like. And until next time, bye.